Who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me, Mike Lepre, King Mike L. This is World of Legit Fantasy Wrestling, brought to you by legitpodcast.com. I'm cold in the basement. It's July 6th, 2022. 7-6, and then 3 twos. Not much. Not much of the math geeks at all. But I'm cold. Like, I'm cold in the basement. And you say, we'll put on another shirt, Mike. I don't have one nearby, I would respond. Joining me, as always, Joey Paranormal. What's up, Joe?
Not much, man. Kind of sharing the sentiment. I've been freezing in my house the past couple days. Our AC has been cranked down to a nice chilly 64. I had to turn it up to 69. Nice. So it wouldn't go off during the show because, like we found out last summer, it is very audible and very annoying.
So, Joe, I know you wanted to ask me about how my bill was this month.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Not even trying to be a joke, not even trying to be funny. I'm very interested in this because I love solar. Trying to convince my fiance and her mom to go along with it.
Okay, so here's what happened. We decided to go with this first company, and they were shady. Okay, they wanted us to take out a loan. You don't have to take out a loan, right? There's all these different grants and stuff. So we ended up with this one company. Now, to be completely fair, they put up the wrong solar panels at first. Now, there was like a solar panel shortage. I don't know if you saw all the YouTube videos. Like,
Yeah.
China wasn't making them. They were making it difficult for us to get them. So, anyways, he, by his word, came back months later and reinstalled the ones that we asked for. Now, he was like, that's not gonna make a difference in how they generate power. But Joe, I'm gonna tell you right now, the black ones, all black, generate way more power. My old ones, like that, before he switched them, they were maxing out at say 36 watts, whatever that's called, kilowatts a day, whereas the new one goes to 3940. That's a big difference. Three out of 36 is a lot, really, when it comes to money. But so here's the thing: it actually got shut down for the day that they installed it. So I oddly lost a day, and believe it or not, we had more rainy days in July or cloudy days than we did in June. However, because of the last couple of days with the new panels from the 26th on, we ended up with a bill of $6.
$6?
Six. That's my electric bill. So my electric bill. So now you gotta pay. You pay 105. You have no loan for the guy. First, people wanted to put a $48,000 loan on us. Fuck that, right? This company put no loan on us like that. It's just like a payment of 105 a month for the panel thing. It's the solar thing that goes to solar, no matter what, and then you pay electric bill. So I get it that in like the winter, I'm going to be paying like that bill along with a decent electric bill because it won't be as sunny. But I always go against that when I say, I know in Rhode Island when I'm outside in October, November, sometimes December, then January, February, Joe, it's sunny out. It's not like it's not sunny out. It's never sunny out around here in the winter. The sun does come out. It's just cold. You know what I mean? So the sun won't be as strong, but it'll still be hitting these panels. So now, Joe, my electric bill used to be $2 change. You understand now? I got 2 floors. I got 2 to 18-year-old kids that live in the house, right? My wife worked from home. I operate a podcast in this building. I mean, the electric that I must run up, in a week. And Joe, my bill has now been $9 and then $6. And you get to watch it on the app they give you, and it's almost like watching stock. It's like, oh my God, I hope we get more things. So I waited, and I said this. I was going to wait 2 bills, and the reason I did this is for a very big reason. 2 bills gives me an example, and it gave him time to keep his word and replace those panels. I was not going to speak to the company until they replaced those panels. And now, I mean, I had to get on the phone with the guy, and I ended up liking the guy, but like I stayed on him, right? I stayed on him. You had to stay on him. Overall, though, he kept his word, which is big to me. So and it took him a while to get them. And he didn't know that I knew that it was really difficult to get these things, right? So now that it's replaced, I don't see why you would not switch to solar right now, because everything's going up in price so dramatically fast. And if you don't think energy is going to be like energy is going to just go up, electric is going to just skyrocket. It's going to be ridiculous next year. Now would be the time to go get solar. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to sell everybody on it. Like I got a guy to refer to, and they do referrals, but that's literally not my goal. My goal is because I'm so happy to see an electric bill of those costs. Now, people will say to me, well, you got to measure out what it's going to cost you for the whole year. And then, that's the average. And I just keep saying the electric bill will be a lot less, even in those winter months, because, I remember shoveling the driveway last year in the sun. Like, that's not uncommon for Rhode Island. Like,
I mean, despite what people would want you to believe, the sun does in fact come out during the winter.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
All snow is just rain that is frozen. So if it's going to rain in the summer, it's going to snow in the winter. And not for nothing, but if it's overcast, the sun and the sun rays are still getting through the clouds. I can tell you, this bald head has been burned to a crisp on a overcast day where the sun didn't actually come through once. So I think in the winter you'll be fine.
That's my whole point. And the thing is, you can put as many of these things on your house as you want. And the thing is, then I heard, don't put them on your house, man. It makes the property value go down because they don't look so cool. And I'm like, they look
That's what
awesome.
I've been told.
They look awesome. You know what I'm trying to say? They're black. Like they get that. They're awesome. And you know what? I look at them and I say to myself, they're saving me money and I'm becoming less dependent. If I can become less dependent on everything, Joe, my life will be so much happier.
I agree. Two things I want to do is I want solar and I want to get an electric car. I don't know if I would necessarily want an electric car as opposed to a hybrid. I still want something to give my battery a charge. Wouldn't go Tesla though, because Tesla is a giant money scam that I don't think people have awoken to yet. But a lot of hybrids that they have nowadays are very sharp looking and they're inexpensive. And if you had a house that was generating its own electricity and then also charging the vehicle that you use to drive around all day, I think just the cost savings right there, it would be astronomical, especially with where gas is probably going to end up in the next couple of years.
So the thing is this, I really don't think that, not to get political, not to be political, but I don't think they should be putting so much pressure on gas. I think they should keep digging. I think that Pennsylvania pipeline, or whatever it's called, should be reopened. Like, I think we should be generating our own gas and oil and stick with that for a while, because we can't.
But how would the rich Republicans get all their money?
But you don't switch overnight.
They would lose a whole bunch of money, man. You can't do that.
No, but no, it's not the Republicans. The Democrats are trying to get.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to get. Yeah, I can't get political. And also, there are a lot of Democrats that have their hands in big oil too. So it's not just one or the other.
But they're just But my point is, like we can't go this fast over to electric, because people are losing jobs, and it doesn't. You got to ease into stuff. That's how life works.
No, but the Supreme Court did just pass laws to make that are less friendly for the environment and for going over to renewable and clean resources.
Agreed. I don't mind that. What I'm saying is, you can't do it so fast that the gas goes up to $400 a gallon. That's what I'm saying. So, the name of the company, and I'm gonna let you know. So they operate out of Home Depot. They're like one of Home Depot's contractors. All right. It's let's see. It says no. This is not the. It's Sunrun is the name of the company. Sunrun, but it's I believe lovesolarUSA.com. I guess this guy works. You know how you have like a contractor that works for the company that works for, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, in other words, this is the guy that you would call to get it done, right? And I guess the company eventually, the name, because like, here's the card. This is the outside of the card. See it? Bright Planet, Sunrun, and Home Depot. See it?
Yeah.
Flip it over. See the gentleman's name, Nick Carpenzano. You can't see his number there.
He's got to get a new card. He's got to change up that card. It's not National Grid anymore.
But see how it says National Grid Energy Services? Right there. You see better right there.
Oh, there you
And
go.
then,
Yeah.
and then it says at the name of his company, love.com.
Love Solar USA. Yeah.
Anyways, if you call Nick at 631-848-9515. Again, anybody that's listening or watches back on this, I'm going to start to put this on different shows. 631-848-9515. Nick Carpenzano. Tell him you spoke with me, right? Or you heard from me, Mike Lepre. You can say King Mike L, but he's going to get really confused. Try to use Mike Lepre. And I'm not telling you to get solar. I'm telling you to ask this guy about why you should get solar. That's all I'm asking you to do. Call them up and find out why you should get solar. Because the thing is, like, you got to make it up your own mind, and then you got to call. And all I'm telling you to do is call a guy. And I would not tell you to call this guy again if he didn't stay to his word and follow through. That's big with me in small businesses. They got like one review on like Yelp, and it's horrendous, 1 star. And it's like, you know what? That does not faze me, because I know how I dealt with this guy, and they did it wrong at first, but it took him months. He kept calling, keeping in touch, even though we'd yell at him whenever he would call, but he stayed true to his word and got it done. That's big with me, Joe. So Nick Carpenzano, 631-848-9515. It's www.lovesolarusa.com. Tell Nick, Mike Lepre has the Sunrun app on his phone, and it's awesome. You get to see the bars, or you can do the stock market graphs, lines. I prefer the bars. I'm old school, Joe. I like seeing the bars go through the thing. All right. Anyways, again, I'm not saying it because I'm trying to sell you. I'm just telling you my last 2 months' bills were like I promised you I would. And geez Louise, Joe, right? So let's get on to the next topic. Recently, now we do. Oh yeah, all right. Let's give me 1 second on that.
Hold on. No, give me 1 second.
Go ahead, right ahead.
Because I got a bone to pick with you.
Go right ahead.
I bought this Houston Gamblers jersey. You know why? Because at the beginning of the season, we said, you know what? We need a team for the show to get behind.
I agree.
Mike, do you remember what team Joey Paranormal said, hey, we should back this team because they have the longest odds to win the championship at the end of the USFL season? The longest odds, the underdog, the long shot. Who was that?
Birmingham Stallions.
Yeah. And that was a team I said we should ride. So, and instead, we rode the Houston Gamblers.
Let me ask you something. So you want credit for looking at the team with the longest odds and saying, first of all, one, we should go at that team, as if like nobody picks the one with the longest odds. And then two, you followed it up by getting a Houston Gamblers jersey. So I don't know.
You can't knock me for being committed to the bit. All right, man.
No, I love the jersey. I love the jersey. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you personally. Like, I don't know where you're coming from on that. Like,
all I'm saying is I had a feeling, and it was for more cowbell. No, I'm just kidding. And it was.
Is your feeling at all like the fact that I was 39 and 11? No, 29 and 11 in the season, and then I killed it in the playoffs. I was 1 of 2, and then I guaranteed everybody listening, and you can go back and listen to this. I said, bet your house, bet your neighbor's house, bet anything you can get your hands on. I said, I actually stake the reputation of this show and this website. I put it all on the line. I said, Birmingham will win the championship against Philadelphia. I don't care how it goes down, how close it is at the end, done. And you know what? The show before that, when me and Buddy were breaking down the final 4 of them, we're like, the only championship I see that would be like a no-brainer would be if Birmingham played Philadelphia. Because we didn't feel like Philadelphia deserved to be in the playoffs, but even though they were winning games at the end. And then in that championship game, Philly tried to play them hard, but Birmingham lost 1 game all year. Like, that happens. And I actually predicted that game because it was just one of those moments. But overall, that team was stacked. Like, I don't know who the frig broke them down in preseason. Like, they obviously don't know linemen because Birmingham's line on both sides of the ball just abused everybody. It's like when you can just control the line of scrimmage all the time on both sides, how are you losing? So, Joe, the fact that I predicted all that stuff, not knowing those teams, come on, man. I know this is wrestling, so I'm going to promote myself. I was the USFL champ. Like, it was ridiculous how right I was. Like, the money that I would have made somebody, and the fact that I put everything on the line, telling you, just put all your money on Birmingham winning outright. Just put it on that. Put it on that. Once again, Joe, right. What happens with us in wrestling? We're always right. It happens. Now, I want to give you a complaint. So I've been getting some complaints because people say like, oh yeah, I tuned in to like I don't know, say like a paranormal show or your wrestling show or whatever, and they're like, yeah, you were talking about socks. You know, I didn't know what was going on, and I realized that like when you listen to one of our shows, if you don't really listen from the beginning and you try to jump on in the middle, we can lose you. You notice that because we're
Especially if
already
I'm on the show.
No, yeah, well, that's true. But in general, I mean, we all like you can like people that jump on in the middle. They're like, the paranormal show the other night. They were like, "Why are you mad about like ATMs?" And it's like you're like in the middle of the show. Like that has nothing to do. So it's like you know what I mean. Like so that's been the one knock is that like they tune in and we're talking about stuff that they don't understand, and I like that. I think that means we're doing a good job. Like, I'm happy with that response. Like, I don't want you to tune in halfway and think you're just going to catch on to the whole conversation. Like, you either got to listen for a while or you got to pick it up, right? We have
Yeah,
our own dialogue.
it's like if you happen on Comedy Central when there's a stand-up show on, you're not just gonna hop into the stand-up program and be like, oh, haha, I know this joke, this is funny. No, you're gonna sit there and be like, I don't know where this joke started or where it's going, and you have to wait for that joke to hit, and now you're there for the ride. It's the same thing.
So that's my one thought process. And then so I'm even considering expanding the websites, meaning giving the shows their own small website that has a link to the main website. Because we now broadcast over 3 different YouTube channels, right? The paranormal shows broadcast over 3. We're doing 2. I'm sorry. We do 2 with wrestling, sports, and just legit podcasts. So we're legit fantasy sports. We're under that with wrestling, and we're under legit podcasts. Paranormal is under those 2 and legit paranormal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But my thoughts are have paranormal site, have the sports site, but they all link right back to the main site.
Yeah.
So that way I can put all the paranormal shows together and give all those people what they want, a paranormal page, right? And then on the sports page, it can be more jockish, more like sports, like wrestling thing, and like you know what I mean? Totally change it up. These are my thoughts. I don't know. Joe, let me ask you this. I want to do something with you here. I think here's what we should do, and give me a second to find this now.
So while you're looking,
go ahead, talk.
I was pretty off about my predictions for Money in the Bank, huh? Although I did say that there was almost no way Austin Theory could retain against Bobby Lashley because there was just no way. Like you can't have Theory win there. You just can't. He didn't.
But boy, did they
did they pull the wool over everyone's eyes?
Did they let you I was like, man, that's cold. Like I was like, wow, look at this. Like what did they just do there? You know, I'm like, man, that is cold. Like they immediately put him back in the limelight. Like right? I don't know.
I think it's for one of two things. I think there's I don't know if I said this. I don't know where I said this. I think I said it to you on Sunday before the paranormal show. But it's either A, it's going to lead to a Cena Austin Theory SummerSlam match with the contract on the line, or B, WWE looked at it and said, listen, we can't just give the contract to someone who would lose credibility by losing to Roman Reigns. So they gave it to someone who can benefit from a program with Roman that ultimately ends up losing. Because like if Drew loses to Roman, Seth loses to Roman, both of those guys, they take a hit, especially Seth, who's been losing quite a bit. So I think those are the two scenarios that they're going with Theory winning the Money in the Bank.
So what are your thoughts though?
What do you mean?
What are your thoughts on him doing that?
I mean, I don't know, man. They're already bringing back Brock. Supposedly that's just for SummerSlam. He's not being advertised. Like they're advertising SummerSlam for like it's the end of the match. It's the end of the line. The feud comes to a head at SummerSlam. So I mean, what are we from SummerSlam? Like 2 months away? Maybe Theory cashes in, but like I want badly and am hoping badly what happens is at SummerSlam, Cena and Theory battle for the briefcase. Cena wins, and then Cena cashes in on Lesnar and Roman Reigns, wins the title, and then maybe holds it for a month as a part-time kind of guy, and then drops it again to like a Seth or a Roman in some kind of triple threat or something. But I think I'd love that because I think it'd just be different. Because you just haven't seen a Cena cash in like that, and it would be funny to do it against Brock and Roman. Basically, three part-timers all just like duking it out.
All right. I guess I'm stuck on the Theory thing because my issue is this with the Theory thing.
Your theory?
Yeah. What is the goal with him?
Well,
Like,
I think
why give him that spot? I don't.
Well, I think he's probably the only one in that match who gets an actual good rub from a program with Roman that ultimately ends up losing if that's the route they go. But I also think it spices up a feud with John Cena at SummerSlam if that's the route they go, and also can give them an easy way to put a title on Cena again to prop up his number. Because I think he's at 16, right? 15 or 16? I think he's I think he's tied it with 16.
Yeah,
so they have to give him a way to break that tie without having him be in an actual program because he's not around long enough for a program.
All right, I'm glad that you're still talking because I'm almost done with what I wanted to do.
There are some times where the fact that I ramble endlessly with no real direction comes in handy, and then sometimes I ramble and forget what I'm trying to say because.
All right, Joe, let's do this now, right? All right, it's gonna be. I think it's. Let me do this. Share this motherfucker like this.
I'll tell you what, dude. I was rocking out to Randy Orton's old theme song, "Burning My Light." What a freaking bad decision it was for them to drop that music from him.
All right, Joe. Now, me and you, I believe this is it 32 or 16? I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16. We're each gonna get 8 wrestlers. Then we're gonna randomize the 8 wrestlers 8 times, and that's how we're gonna put them in the brackets. And then we're gonna see how well we do with choosing wrestlers. How do you want to do this? What rules you want to make? Give me some rules here. Like, you want to know what?
I don't know. What do you mean by rules? Like, I'm still a little confused to how we're exactly doing this. Are we doing like best of all time? We just trying to see who would win? Like, am I picking 8 and you're picking 8, and we're just gonna argue over who would win in each match that they go up against?
So we gotta go as far as how good they were in the ring, or at least how they were perceived in the ring.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, as wrestlers, we can't go by just hype. Right?
I think then for a rule, just for my sake, because my knowledge only goes to about like 95. So maybe don't hit me with like Bruno Sammartino's because like I'm just going by how good you say is because I never really got to watch him wrestle. You know what I'm saying?
I'll try to stick to people that you've seen. I won't mention Bruno Sammartino.
Let's do the eye test of like the new generation because obviously we know like if it comes down to it, Bruno is one of the best.
I'm not gonna do new generation, but I'm gonna do that you've seen them wrestle at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that works for me. Just that way, because that way I can at least give an actual like grade or at least like my opinion on their in-ring work.
All right, you're gonna get 8. I'm gonna get 8. We randomize them, then we put them in the tournament brackets, and then that's where we're gonna figure out who's the winner, Joe.
All right, so, and we gotta make sure. Are you tracking who's picking who?
Oh, yeah. I get this all in the thing, all written down. So, should we do age before beauty?
No, let's rock, paper, scissors.
No, I don't. All right, I hate that shit. So what do I got to do? It's once,
1,
twice.
2, 3, go.
Oh, really? That's a lot of it. Rock, paper, scissors. Ready?
All right. What? Right. Hold on. Ready? Ready? Nope. You age before beauty. Just go. You win.
All
I don't
right.
know if it's a lag or not, but there's just the timing's off.
Either way, I won. I'm gonna go with John Cena.
My God, would that go in a great fail compilation or what?
I don't mean to put him there. I got to put him in this page. We got to go to this. Am I sharing that page now? Oh yeah, switch. Joe, you're up next.
I am gonna take. My brain's telling me who to take, but I probably gotta go with my gut. Yeah, I'm gonna. Damn.
Come on.
In ring, I'm gonna go with The Rock.
All right, number one of yours is The Rock. I got John Cena so far. I'm gonna take Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're up.
I'll take AJ Styles.
And number two, you take AJ Styles. I'm gonna take Hulk Hogan.
Undertaker.
Triple H.
Damn, that was my next one. Randy Orton.
Shawn Michaels.
Bret Hart. I was taking one of those two. I was just hoping you were going to take Bret. How many do I have left? What are we at, 7?
I think we're at 5.
That's it?
Yeah, we have 3 left each.
Oh, shit.
Edge.
Damn. I'll take. Oh, this is tough now because now I'm trying to like rack my brain. I need to see like a roster. I'll take Jeff Hardy.
That's 6 you got. I got 6. Kane.
Oh, you suck. I didn't think you would take him. I was going to take him next. I
know you didn't think that. I didn't even want to take him, but I took him just cuz. Go ahead, number 7 for you.
Oh, this is Seth Rollins.
All right. That's 7, right? For you?
Yep.
I'm on 8. Brock Lesnar.
Ugh. Daniel Bryan.
Wow. All right, so hold on. I got to share this screen because this is going to be where we randomize that crap. Right? So now I got to enter all this quick. I'm going to put Cena and then it doesn't matter. I'm going to write down my list and then your list. This is going to randomize. Austin, then Hogan, and then Triple, and then Shawn, and then Edge, and then Kane, and then Brock.
You do realize, though, in the scope of what we're talking about, Kane fits this list perfectly.
Brock.
Nobody's in-ring body of work for what they did with their size, it beats Kane. I mean, his first 10 years in WWE, he was one of the most athletic big men they've ever seen.
Yeah, but his tweets as of late have not been too great.
What are you gonna do?
Just saying.
We gotta separate.
Who's your last pick after Seth? Oh, Daniel.
Daniel Bryan.
All right, Joe. So we're gonna do this 8 times. 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Joe, as I fill this out, you read me the names beginning with the first name. Go.
I can't even read that. It looks like Daniel. The Daniel?
Really? You can't see it? Hold on.
The Brian? Well, there we go. Orton. Holy crap.
Well, all right, Orton.
It was so small that like some of the letters weren't
Next
complete.
name.
Seth
Next name.
Styles.
Next name.
Brian. Brian.
All right. After Brian.
Triple H.
That. Next.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Next.
Jeff Hardy.
Next. Next.
Kane. My bad, I got distracted.
Right, that's a
Buddy's
match.
distracting me.
Next.
Cena.
Next.
Undertaker.
Next.
Hogan.
Next.
Shawn Michaels.
What a friggin' bracket that 4 is. Next.
Edge.
Next.
Bret the Hitman Hart.
Last 2.
Rocky Maivia.
Rock.
Maivia.
Rock's left, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, Rock versus. All right. So listen, dude. Check out what we have for first round matchups. So we have. Let me just because I gotta share the right screen. So stop screen, and then share screen, Joe, and then it's find that some bitch of a screen, and there it is. Right. So now we're on the PDF bracket, and boom, bada bing. I'll make it so people can see it better. Right. All right. Here we are. I'll scroll up it so you can see the top. Orton versus Seth Rollins first round. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. Triple H versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Jeff Hardy versus Kane. On the other side, Joe, we got John Cena versus Undertaker. Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels. Edge versus Bret Hart. And The Rock versus Brock Lesnar. This would make a great pay-per-view.
Yeah, it would.
Maybe best of all time.
These are all like actual matches that would actually happen too. That's the best part.
This might be one of the funnest of all times. All right, so are you ready to begin?
Oh, you mean ready to begin arguing against myself?
Here's the thing. Yeah, you just got to be honest about them, whether you pick the guy or not. That's the only way that it'll work. So
I can tell you right off the bat, Orton. It has to be Orton here. I mean, I love Seth Rollins, but in this specific matchup, I mean, Randy Orton's managed to stay relevant as a full-timer for like the past almost 20 years. He's reinvented his character ever so slightly all the time. I give his original music, Burning My Light, the edge over Burn It Down, even though I really do like that Seth's music is actually like real, like heavy metal. You don't really see that with wrestlers' music anymore.
I don't care about their music. Randy Orton would beat Seth Rollins.
You said all encompassing. I'm breaking it completely down, my friend.
I'm going Orton though.
Yeah, I would too. I would too.
All right, these are all your guys. So next,
Well aware.
AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan.
I'm going AJ Styles here. AJ Styles has been in the business for just as long as Orton has. He's done it in many different companies. He walked into the WWE and instantly took over. And he's been one of the most over superstars they've had over the last like 5 or 6 years.
He has not been even a fraction of over that Daniel Bryan was. I mean, come on now, really? Over Daniel Bryan? Daniel Bryan's run in WWE will be remembered forever. It's one of the most historic underdog, like ground up type stories that like actually got people to watch for a long, long time. Now, AJ Styles is great, but he's never run a program in the WWE that was like anywhere near that. Matter of fact, he did a whole thing with Nakamura where they just kept kicking each other in the balls.
Think of it this way, though. So this is how I look at it. How many superstars aren't WWE homegrown talents that WWE has actually given the WWE championship to? How many times has a superstar who wasn't on their programming been so good?
Styles can go, but Bryan, I mean, this one I would have to disagree with you. So I don't know how we do a tiebreaker.
Coin flip?
Yeah. I mean,
I have to. I mean, you're. I could probably be the tiebreaker. I can agree to go Brian here because you are right. His run, he's one of the only superstars to ever force a company to give him a
It was
championship
unbelievable. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
because
Like
he was so over.
he's
I
a
think Styles is the better wrestler, but all encompassing, Brian probably deserves
and
that.
Brian can wrestle too, though. It's not like he can't wrestle. The guy
No,
can
I just
really
think AJ
wrestle.
Styles is the better wrestler personally, and I get we were robbed of Brian's prime because of the neck injury, but it is what it is.
All right, next is Triple H versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, as much as we want to argue for Triple H, it's going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin, right, Joe?
Yeah, yeah.
As much as
The
we want to argue for it.
I will say though, if you wanted to argue for Triple H, I'd entertain it. Only because Triple H was able to last, and I get that that's not exactly Austin's fault because Owen Hart broke his neck, and that kind of stopped him. But longevity, I mean, Triple H had a hell of a career, and he was able to feud with guys from. I mean, he started with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, all the way up until Seth Rollins. I mean, think about that. Think about how long Triple H was able to maintain his career, that he got to see guys in the early to mid 90s. I mean, wrestling Kurt Hennig, the British Bulldog, and then finishing up his career wrestling Seth Rollins. It's just, you just don't see it, you know?
Joe, it's going to be Austin, though.
I know. I'm just devil's advocate. I mean, there is an argument for Triple H.
All right. Here you go. Here's your nightmare that came to life. Somehow your guys got matched together in the first round. Jeff Hardy versus the Big Red Machine, Kane.
I go Kane.
Yeah,
I love Jeff. He was so over. But the fact that he hasn't been able to sustain his career because of his demons, and where Kane was able to take that character, I mean, they threw him some shit programs.
All right, but
and he made it all work.
For the record, we're not ranking the guy, the person.
I know.
We're ranking the wrestler Kane.
You know what's funny too is you can even look at Jeff Hardy as being part of one of the best tag teams of all time, right? But Kane is arguably one of the best tag team wrestlers of all time in his own right.
Yeah, he fit a nice niche. You could always put him with a little guy, and the little guy would come off looking.
And it worked. X-Pac, RVD. Even when he partnered with Big Show, I mean, he was part of some great tag teams. Daniel Bryan, another one. It's crazy.
I agree. All right, so next, let's get to this other one. This is gonna be a tough one here. Cena versus The Undertaker. So, Joe, I'm gonna say this: as big a deal as The Undertaker has been for the WWE, right? So has John Cena. In every way that The Undertaker is great, other than WrestleMania, that whole streak, every way that he's been great, so has John Cena. On top of that, Cena's actually been, whether you want to accept this or not, greater. He's held the belt way more. He's been the face that was there for so long. Like, even though Taker was still there, Taker never had to be the face. There's a big difference in like pressure and all that other stuff to carry the belt that long.
I would argue though that in the early 2000s, when he changed characters and became the American Badass, he was the face of that new attitude era. You know, he was kind of the face, that he was the guy. I mean, he was the at the top of the rung. I mean, it was him, Brock, and Triple H, and they were the ones that were just went at it. I mean, Kurt Angle too, but I mean, Undertaker was the face of that company in the early 2000s when he took the American Badass.
American Badass was awful. It was an awful idea. It was an awful idea. It really was. He was the Undertaker. He shouldn't have been that guy. But by that time, you know, it already run his course with all the other stuff. And no, John Cena was still and was always champ. Like, he's just always big match John. Like, how do you not take? It's got to be John Cena here. It has to be John Cena here.
Like, I mean, you're probably right. It is just, this is a match that shouldn't have been in the first round. I mean, it's a travesty that we got to argue this in the first round. It should be final round. This argument for
Not how it happened.
I'm not gonna fight you if you put Cena here.
I just think he's
meant more to the WWE than Taker has.
and that's saying so much because
Yeah.
Taker's meant so much. Hogan versus Shawn Michaels.
I'd put Shawn here.
See, I would go.
I think Shawn Michaels was so much of a better wrestler.
Yeah, but what do they mean to the company? I mean, has anybody like Hulk Hogan made it so that everybody can get paid? Hulk Hogan made it so that people other than grandmas with big purses went down to watch wrestling. You got to understand what he did. I mean, never mind what he did in WCW and revolutionized it again. Like he's just there, and he's you. I mean, he could be the best on this whole list technically. Like
Yeah.
with me, I don't see Shawn winning this whole thing, but
No.
I could see Hogan winning the whole goddamn thing because he's Hulk Hogan. Like,
Yeah, until we get to the
ask
next
somebody
round.
who a wrestler is, Joe, and they
Yeah.
usually say Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Still. So what do you want to do? I'll let you pick this one because I picked the last one. I mean, I gave you
Hogan.
I'm giving you my reason. All right.
It's Hogan.
All right.
This was a tough matchup for the Heartbreak Kid.
All right. Next, Edge versus Bret the Hitman Hart.
I mean, I don't even think this one's really an argument.
Got to be Bret, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Edge is great, but
more championships. But
Bret was so in Bret's
Edge has most
too,
championships of all time by anybody combined.
So the issue with Bret Hart though is that he left the company, and because he left in the way he did, his bridges got burned because of what Vince did to him. I think Bret could have had such a phenomenal career if the WWE didn't, if WCW didn't exist, and he should have stayed too. I think him leaving was a bad move.
Yeah, because he should have played into the drama. It would have made more money, you know?
Yeah.
Getting screwed over, the whole angle like that, all that bullshit. That's money. Like you don't walk away from drama when you're in pro wrestling. You step into it. You know what I mean?
Especially spitting on Vinnie Mac's face. Oh my God. Imagine if he came back.
Yeah, punch him in the eye. Give him a legit black eye.
In the back afterwards.
All right, here comes a really tough ass one for the first round too, Joe. The Rock versus Brock Lesnar.
This might be the first one that we legitimately like argue and just don't pick. Because you can't convince me that the Rock doesn't go over Brock here. You just can't. I mean,
no, I gotta go with the Rock, and the only reason is because even if the Rock came back right now, he'd be a bigger draw than Brock.
Yeah, if the Rock came back right now, he'd burn the place to the ground.
I get it. So I'm okay with that. We'll put the Rock.
Oh,
we are now in the.
It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, Brock would beat a lot of people. This like 2 or 3 he can't beat. Now, second round. It's a weird one. Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan to make it to the final 4. Thoughts, Joe?
This is really tough because for everything you argued in the last round, I think Bryan should go over Orton. But if you look at complete body of work, I mean, Orton he's been healthy. He's stayed healthy. He's won championships. He's
how many stables has he been in?
Exactly. And I mean, and even now, I mean, working with Riddle, he took a step back from the spotlight because he should be in the championship picture. But he was so good playing a comedic role with a younger guy that they just let him run with it.
Let me tell you something. I could see a future where Orton comes back and wrestles for a few more years, and the conversation starts to be that is he the greatest wrestler of all time? Because his body work so far is phenomenal. If he extended that and went for a longer time than any of these guys and had a couple more belts, you could argue Randy Orton's the best of all time. Like if in other words, if he goes like 4 or 5 more years, how are you going to compare the other guys to him?
Exactly.
You can't. There the whole time. He's in all these different groups.
The biggest issue with him right now, though, is his back. You know, how bad is his back injury? I mean, it's bad enough that it needs surgery, and he's out, I think, for the rest of the year. I mean, that's a tough one to come back from, especially he's getting older. You got to see what happens.
You got to do. He's doing less and less. That dude, that tag team stuff is just to always kind of save somebody when there's like an odd tag team
Exactly.
matchup, or you're wrestling the Miz. These are like the two ways that the guy is hurt and he's gonna take some time off because he wants to just go slow for a while, right?
Yeah.
Right. You put him with a worker and you just set them on their way. All right. So here we go. Orton over Bryan, correct?
Yes.
Next. This is so easy to me, Joe, but it may make you unhappy. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kane.
I mean, Kane did have a longer career.
Yeah.
No, it's Austin here. I love Kane, but I'd be the biggest honk in the world if I tried to sit here and argue with you over why I think Kane is a bigger draw than Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Other side, we have John Cena. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then Hulk Hogan. And like, if you ask me, these are the two guys most similar, obviously. And like, if Cena was a ripoff of anybody, you would say that he was a ripoff of 80s Hulk Hogan towards the end. Right?
Yeah, C Nation, Hulkamania. Come on now. It's a very, very similar styled way they presented themselves.
So then where do we sit on this match?
What?
Where do we sit on this match?
I would give this to Cena, mainly because he carried the company through one of the worst booking and written periods of the WWE. Now, I understand Hogan brought people in, he carried a company and transformed it into something else.
Yeah,
but what do you say for a guy who took a company that was destroyed by the guy who built it, who had people who were frightened to do anything different? He did do something different and literally put this company on his shoulder for 10 years.
I think Cena is fantastic. Like, I'm a big Cena fan, right? But wait, when you talk Hulk Hogan, you're literally talking Babe Ruth. You're talking like Muhammad Ali. You're talking names that are so like synonymous with their sport, right? I mean, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant. They're just names you just can't run away from. And Hulk Hogan, there was a point where you could not beat Hulk Hogan in the 80s. Like, all these villains would come out of nowhere, Joe. Sheik, all these guys. They'd all, oh, he's the next one that's going to beat him. Oh, we found Bam Bam Bigelow. Who's he going to sign with? Then Slick signs him. Oh, he's going to beat Hogan. Sid's here. Hogan kept beating everybody. Joe, there was just something about it, right? He just could, like, in other words, a prime Hulk Hogan is like a prime Mike Tyson. Absolutely unbeatable. Unbeatable. Dude, anybody who can Hulk up, you can't beat. No, I mean, you're right. Like,
yeah.
Dude, I mean, and let me tell you something. If I ever hit somebody twice flush in the face and they started to shake their head like this, yes, I would not keep throwing punches. I would get the freak out of there. Anybody hulking up for me hitting them, I'm out. I don't know what you think, but like, so, but same can be said for Cena. He won so many matches that he shouldn't have won. Like, booking would have been better if he didn't win them, but he still won them.
He even had
won big matches, period.
He even had an Undertaker, a Hulk Hogan like signature like scene where Hulk, scoop slammed Andre the Giant. John Cena FU'd or A5, whatever the hell he calls it now, the Big Show. I mean, two smaller guys who picked up monstrous men. I'm gonna let you make this decision because it's both of your picks.
I tell you what, Cena was so much in their prime, so much stronger than Hulk Hogan. As big as you think Hulk Hogan is, and as strong as you think he was, Cena is ridiculously strong.
Real strength will beat steroids any day.
Yeah, he's one of those freaky, sick. Like, dude, don't think that Cena's never taken anything because he's just gigantic. But
I would think I would think that Cena is more organic than Hulk Hogan, though.
Oh, without a doubt. I think
Yeah,
anybody is. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Keith Richards is more organic than
Stevie
Hulk Hogan.
Blackman.
Yeah. Well, so all right. So we're on. I'm gonna give it to. I can't go against Hulk Hogan from the '80s. You know that? So I get I if I'm gonna pick, I'm taking Hogan. I can't go against the ultimate like champion. Like he was, other than the guy we can't mention, Bruno Sammartino. Hulk Hogan, it was like the schnizzle.
I should have made another rule that you couldn't pick Hogan either, because I almost feel like Hogan's just going to take it all if
I
it's on that much of a level, you know?
I gotta go with Hogan. I mean, how do you not go
All
with
right.
Hogan? Like this is, you know what I mean? It's like it's wrestling. All right, so then Bret Hart. Oh, Bret Hart versus The Rock. It's got to be The Rock. I mean, Bret Hart was
Yeah.
great, but he wasn't The Rock.
The Rock did
Personality-wise,
things.
not even
The
close.
Rock did something to the fans and to wrestling that hadn't been done, I think, ever. And he had people. He would speak, and people would eat out of the palm of his hand. And every time The Rock would say, "Hey, what do you think about this? How do you feel about this?" And every time people would bite because they just want to talk to him. And every time, man, he would stop you, and he'd tell you it doesn't matter what you think.
That's
Oh,
why the Mick Foley one lives in my heart forever, where he finally got it over on The Rock. And like, how
yeah.
does it make you feel? And like Dwayne's how to actually say it, and he grabbed it and he's like, "It doesn't matter how it makes you feel." And then
And
he ran around the ring. All right.
and The Rock starts laughing too.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
he literally broke character in the middle of the ring when he did that.
How could you not? All right, so we got to put The Rock over Bret Hart.
Yeah.
All right, we're down now to our final four, right? One of them is, I don't know if he should be there, but we'll go with it anyways. On the left side, we have Randy Orton versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then on the right side, we have Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. Dude, this match at WrestleMania still gives me chills when I watch the first 5 minutes of it, where Hogan just comes out and pushes The Rock down twice and then just flexes, does the classic poses, and the place just goes boom. Like I've never seen a crowd go absolutely that insane. Want to see Hogan do that? Like they were saying they didn't know. Like Rock was talking about how they had to make like a plan B because Hogan was getting a lot of cheers. There was just a lot of cheers being generated whenever people saw him. So I mean, they were rooting for Hogan. Like so, it's
Yeah.
like him doing that, throwing the rock down and posing, and the place popping was like I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. So with that long thing said, let's start this one. Orton versus Austin. I don't see how that's not Austin. Right?
Yeah. You're not
I mean,
wrong. I was kind of thinking about how it ended up working out that we both have two people in the semifinals. I think it's kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, Orton's great. He's had a long career. He's done a lot of great things, but I mean, Austin's just one of those guys, and it's going to be the reason why in this next match I vote for The Rock. Austin's one of those guys where he did something different than everybody else, you know, and he took a chance. And he organically grew his fan base and his brand. And
I agree.
it's just something that nobody, you know, like Austin didn't have to be propped up by like Triple H and Ric Flair. You know, Austin didn't need that little rub. Austin just one day just spouted this great line in this great promo after winning what used to be a great tournament in the WWE. And I mean, his career, his stock skyrocketed.
See, you know what's funny is I remember that, and I've always thought that he sold me on. First of all, get that piece of trash out of my ring. When I heard him say that, dude, I was like, wow, who's this guy? This is awesome. This is awesome. Like, that's a great thing to say. Like, get that piece of trash out of my ring. Like, yeah, all right. Like, you didn't really say that back then. You know what I mean? They never really talk like that. You didn't. Where was that outlaw wrestler that talked like that? It didn't really let you. So, I mean, dude, he was just great from the beginning. Like, thank God the whole evolution of him, the bald head, the beard. Like, don't tell me he didn't start that whole bald head beard thing either. goatees because he did. He changed the way bald guys felt about themselves. Like he made it acceptable. Well, one of the most badass people right now is the Stone Cold Steve Austin. He looks awesome, bald with a beard. I'm gonna do that too. Be honest, how many goatees and bald heads popped up?
True. You know what? He also brought back the leather vest.
Well, Joe, I don't know about that. Maybe with you, but I'm not Han Solo, buddy. I ain't wearing no leather vest. And one thing he also did not bring back with me is that he wore all the time is the fanny pack.
Yeah.
He's notorious for like in pitches where he's supposed to look tough, and he's always wearing that leather fanny pack. And I'm sorry, I don't like fanny packs. Don't like them. I don't think we should carry them. They don't look right. They don't look right. It isn't, and it just doesn't look right. All right, Hogan or The Rock?
So I'm going The Rock here. So the biggest reason being Hulk Hogan was gifted the 80s. He had the look, he had the charisma. It was Hogan. Like Hogan was the guy, and he kind of was able to just step into that mantle. The Rock was hated. He was so hated. I mean, everyone who knows wrestling, who hopefully watches the show knows at points early in his career, I mean, the fans literally chanted, "Die, Rocky, die." And he turned around and became one of the most must-see superstars that we've ever seen. You tuned in to see him berate somebody. You tuned in to watch him sing about pie. You know what I mean? To tell you how much he wanted to, what he was going to do to your mother, you know?
All right. On the same token, though, they would not be watching if not for Hulk Hogan. There would be nobody watching The Rock. There would actually be no Rock. Like The Rock emulated Hogan when he was a kid. He loved Hogan. Like every kid loved Hogan because Hogan brought wrestling back. Hulk Hogan doesn't happen. Wrestling doesn't come back like that.
But see, we can't hold The Rock coming after Hogan against him. It's not The Rock's fault. If we're gonna sit here and do body of work and like how they made themselves, and if we're gonna look at everything, I mean, Rock's the better wrestler.
Hogan
I think
and
Rock was more charismatic in the ring. I think The Rock just made himself, but he did so. I think The Rock was just so much better than Hogan.
Much more charismatic in the ring. That's all Hogan has was charisma.
Have you never watched The Rock wrestle?
Of course I have, but Hulk Hogan? Peak Hulk Hogan. I mean, come on.
No, you come on. You get The Rock, and he's sitting there, and he gets low, and he's doing this, and he's waiting for you for the spine buster, or he stops you right in the middle and gives you the hands, bringing you on, or he's hitting you with the slaps, and the last one he spits in his hand, he looks from far away, and he wails you with it. The showmanship that The Rock had, Rock was it, man. I wish that he didn't split for Hollywood so quickly. Because he's just so much fun to watch. His entrance was legendary.
I'm going to let you do this one, but I don't agree with it. Just for time's sake, I'm going to put The Rock. We are now left with Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. Now,
hold on.
For the record, I picked Stone Cold Steve Austin with my second pick. You picked The Rock with your first.
Do you want a medal?
No, I just want to let you know that the value where I got the guy that I think is the best wrestler of all time.
So, in the interest of time, do you want to save this final battle for next week, and we can kind of load up on, get some bullets in the chamber, load up, and then spend like 5 or 10 minutes next week?
Let's do that because I can't lose. I mean, and you know that with Stone Cold. It's just like I can just show you a picture of him, and then you'll be like, yeah, I get it. And it's just what he did. But
see, I think The Rock has that too, man.
Let's start it off next week with that. I'm down for that. You got your Team Rock. I'm Team Austin. We'll see what we can come up with. But I'm only doing this because I really think I can't lose. You know, So, all right. Any last words?
No, I think I'm good. No, you're wrong. I'm wrong, rather. Shout out to Liv Morgan. I think that's awesome that they did that for her. On the rumor mill, apparently Ronda Rousey had asked management to have her drop the belt to someone in the back of the locker room who was more dedicated than she was, and Liv apparently ended up being the one that they decided to go with. I hope she has a good run. We'll see what happens, but that was what a great moment, and I was very happy that I was wrong in picking Alexa Bliss and that Liv cashed in and is now SmackDown Women's Champion.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
I was very happy to see Riddle sliding out of nowhere and stun Seth Rollins. I think we talked about something like that, did we not?
Yeah.
And then it happened, Joe. Again, right?
We will things into its existence. It's fantastic.
I'm not, you know what? I say it in a cocky way, but I'm being honest. We have done that. It keeps happening. All right. So I have nothing left to say. Let me just leave this. Hold on. There it is. So on July 6th, 2022, this is a Wednesday night. God damn. 9:08 right now, Central Time. For Joey Paranormal, it's me, Mike Leprey King, Mike Gell. This was World of Legit Fantasy Wrestling, brought to you by legitpodcast.com. Tune in next week where we will have Team Rock versus Team Austin. Who is the greatest of all time? We will find out. We are done.